Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Out of Boston here, and today I'm back, finally back, with a brand new OOTP series here on my channel. Out of the Park Baseball 18 was released last night, or yesterday, I should say, Friday. As you can see, we're on version 18.1, no longer on the beta, which was released to those who pre-ordered the game on Monday. So I've been playing that for a week now. I logged a couple hours this week. I was mainly traveling my last week in Europe. I just got back from France last night, but anyway, I was playing the last week or so. Lots of car rides. We were driving. My family had come up and visited me, and we were driving to Strasbourg to visit a family friend, then back up to Belgium to go to a bike race, then back down to Paris to fly back to Boston last night. In total, it was about 1,500 miles of driving, so lots of time in the car, so I had a little bit of time to play this beta as we were going from city to city. But as you can see, I have been doing a test save with the Red Sox, and then I imported a game from OOTP 17, which I have been playing primarily for the last few months. As you can see, I've made pretty good progress on that one, all the way up to 2054. One of the reasons I've been able to get through seasons a lot faster, I will talk about I guess I'll just talk about it right now. So I'll load this game up. I've only been playing as the general manager, not the manager anymore. It just means I don't have to micromanage the roster on a day-to-day basis. I don't have to set the lineups and the pitching rotations, and I can still do that stuff in the playoffs, which is nice. But when I actually play the games, I can manage all that stuff and handle all that. But just on a day-to-day basis over the course of a season, I don't think me actually micromanaging makes enough of a difference to make it worth it enough. Maybe I could win a couple extra games, but just in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's that important. So I just decided not to. But anyway, this is the team that I've been working with, so I'm going to talk about. So I talked about that, why I like to only play as the general manager now, not the manager, and I'm also going to talk about why I've been playing in commissioner mode. I'm not going to be playing in commissioner mode in in my new save because I want to play in challenge mode, which is a new feature in this year's OTP, which I'll talk about. But the main reason I want to continue this one was actually because of this guy, Corey Buisson, who's he might be the highest rated pitcher I've ever seen in OOTP. The only thing that, his stamina is actually a 60, so I thought I was looking at 45 here, but no, his stamina is a 60, so he is like a beast, pretty much the best pitcher I've ever seen. So the reason I like playing commissioner mode, one of the reasons is if you go to the editor, you can look at basically kind of a projection system. So you can see he projects over 253 innings in a neutral, modern major league environment. He would have a 1.49 ERA. It's a little bit exaggerated. As you can see in the first two seasons, he's been upper twos. But he's won the Cy Young each year, leading baseball in WAR, and he's durable too. Just like icing on the cake right there is that he is durable. So he's won 2 Cy Youngs, and he won Rookie of the Year in 2051. And if you look at his FIPS, they've been pretty good: 288, 268, and 251. So he's ridiculous. I'm probably going to keep playing this a little bit, just because I want to see how his career plays out. And other than that, my team is stacked. I've just been so good the last 20 years in this. I didn't win a championship until 2035, and then after that it took off. I won 8 and 11 years, then had a bit of a down period, and then I've won 3 of the last 4. So I've been beasting on this one. But so the other reason I like to play in commissioner mode is because I like to be able to, at least in past OTP games, it took players a while to have their position ratings though. So let's say I wanted to play this guy let's say he had no experience playing right field, so his right field rating was a 0. But I looked at his outfield ratings and I said, okay, well, he's decent enough. He could play right field if he had the experience, if he had the reps. So you're able to edit kind of the reps that they get, the experience. Here it is. So it affects the rating. If I change this down to 100, his right field rating goes down to 35. And in past OTPs, it's taken a while for the experience to up. But I think I've noticed even in the one season I did with the Red Sox in this one, their experience ratings go up a little bit faster. You don't necessarily need to play multiple seasons at a position to get accustomed to it. You can even do it over the course of a season and become, Andrew Benintendi starts out in this game with only a 35 or a 40 rating in left field, but over the course of a season he only started 100 games for me. And that's because the manager was fucking up. He wasn't playing him in left field because he didn't have the experience. He was playing Chris Young. But by the end of the year, Benintendi was an 80 grade left fielder. So it's pretty nice. But anyway, that's all I want to talk about on that. So let's go back to the start screen. Start up our new save. And we are going to do challenge mode. So challenge mode is the new feature. This is why you can't play in commissioner mode when you do challenge mode. So I won't be able to do that. And I wouldn't play around with the position ratings as much in this game, but I do like looking at the projections, what the game engine, because it's not actually what their stats are going to be, but it's kind of like looking at a projection system. So I kind of like that. But anyway, you can see the other features for challenge mode here. I'm not going to really get into them. And this is something I'm going to do in this league that I haven't done in other leagues. I'm going to enable the top Korean league, the top Japanese league, and the top Cuban league. And then as well as the World Cup of Baseball, which is basically the World Baseball Classic. I'll talk about that in a sec. But anyway, we're going to be doing Tampa Bay Rays. And so what the enabling of these leagues allows us to do is we'll be able to sign players from them. They'll either be posted, we'll have to pay a posting fee if you want to sign them, or they'll just be straight free agents. We won't have to pay a posting fee at all. So in the save that I did with the Red Sox, I tested it out with the Korean and the Japanese league. It should work with the Cuban league as well. I'm not sure if they will just be tallied as international free agents, though. I have noticed that there are more international free agents in this year's game than last year's. There were pretty much never good international free agents in last year's game. But in the first year that I did the Red Sox save, I already had there was one really good hitter and then a solid like number 3, number 4 starter. So, all right, let's get this started. All right, so as I said, I'm only going to be playing as the general manager in this save, and I'm going to be using Rocco Baldelli. That's going to be the name of my manager, honoring a guy who was a great prospect for the Devil Rays and then kind of his career succumbed to injuries for the most part. Never really lived up to the hype. Didn't really fill out, I guess, or reach his potential, but. Anyway, so I'm also going to select the United States for the World Cup of Baseball, basically the World Baseball Classic. They don't have the license to this. Kakami has that license, I do believe. So the name is different, but they got the formatting the exact same, which I think is pretty impressive because it's not an easy format to really duplicate, and you'll see how they kind of play around with it when we go through it during spring training in this episode. But anyway, so selecting the United States, I don't know exactly what it does yet. It doesn't let me play the games, manage the roster, or anything like that. But it sort of acts like I'm a part of the team in some aspect when I select it. But if I don't select them, then it wouldn't do that. And if I selected like Israel, it would make me like a part of Israel. So even though I'm an American, I don't know why. But well, I guess some Americans are playing for the Israel team actually. But it's beside the point. So back on topic, I'm gonna select the U.S. I'm hoping that maybe like in 4 years, maybe it makes me eligible to be the GM for the Team USA. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it does, but I'm hoping that at some point it's going to let us kind of have an effect on that. For now, though, it's going to let us just simulate it. And so we'll see if the U.S. can duplicate or replicate the performance in real life when they won the World Baseball Classic, which I was pretty sad not to be able to watch too much of. I only watched a little bit of the U.S.-Dominican game the first time around in Miami. I watched the first 6 innings of that, and then I went to bed because it was about 4 a.m. at that point back home. But it was a Saturday, and yeah, just all the games were on really, really late for me, so I really wasn't able to watch too much of it, unfortunately. I did watch some of when the games were going on in, like, Japan and Korea. I was able to watch some of those, because those were actually on at reasonable times for me. It was only, like, 11, noon, 1 o'clock around then, so pretty good. So the only thing about enabling those other leagues, the Korean League, the Japanese League, the Cuban League, is it slows down the simulation a little bit, because there are more leagues that the game has to simulate, the engine has to simulate at any given time. So it makes the day-to-day simulation a little bit slower, but I think it's going to be worth it to have those extra leagues and be able to sign those players from those real players too. It's the real, I mean, they have all the real players. They're not fake rosters. They have real rosters. So that part of it's really, really cool. I'm hoping, I don't know if, I wonder if Shohei, I haven't seen Shohei Ohtani in this game, but I'm hoping he is in it. That would be really cool if we could sign him. Of course, we probably couldn't afford him if he got posted, but whatever. So anyway, our first game against Canada is coming up. You can see the World Baseball Classic getting kicked off. Australia, Japan, Dominican, Colombia. That second game is in our pool. But here we go. First game against Canada, probably a must-win, and we do win 3-2. Thanks to the strong pitching of Chris Archer. Of course, he's our only representative, so we'll be following how he does. But score 3 runs in the 7th. We get the win, so that's definitely a must-win. You got to beat up on, I mean, you probably got to win 2 games. You really want to beat Colombia and Canada like they did in real life, and then if you also beat the Dominican, it's kind of icing on the cake, but either way. Okay, and this is something I got to do. Okay, I'm going to let this go. One bad trade has already happened, but I need to go to the league settings. I need to trade switch the trade frequency. And Mitch Moreland for Brian McCann, I'm fine with. That's not it's not even totally unrealistic. I could see both teams. I mean, I think the Red Sox could be looking for a catcher at the deadline, and I don't really know about the Astros, but I could see a trade like that happening. The Astros get out from all that bad contract. So, all right, there are settings that I need to change. So let's do league settings, and I'm going to go through all these. I don't know if I might cut this part out. Okay, here we go. These are things I need to trade. So we want to allow trading of recently, and I guess I'll show this because I want you guys to see all the settings that I use. So I'm going to allow the trading of recently drafted players because that's a rule that they enacted, I think, last year maybe. And the trade frequency, I'm going to switch to low because there's just too many stupid trades still in this game. It's my biggest pet peeve is that they just haven't figured out the AI trading. And I mean, I'm not, it's not like, I'm sure it's very tough to do. I'm sure they've been working at it, but they just haven't been able to figure it out. So I'm turning it to low. I'm hoping that that's going to, it seemed like it made it a little bit better in my Red Sox save. So I'm hoping that's going to happen. I think I'm going to keep the allow trading of injured players off because it just, when you have a guy in a long-term injury, his trade value gets lowered in this game. So sometimes it could be easier to kind of pick off of another roster, and then all you have to do is let him sit in your disabled list for a little while. So I think I'm going to keep that off for now because it's a little bit cheesy trading for injured players in this game. Other than that, I don't think we have to change any of this stuff. There are some new rules this year. Disabled list is 10 days. DFA period is only 7 days, so a couple different things there. Here we go. This is one thing I want to change. Postseason roster eligibility, this they need to change too. It is the 40-man roster as of September 1st, not the 25-man. They've always had it as the 25-man. I'm not sure if you've been able to change this setting in the past, but this is the real-life setting. If you want the way they do it in real life, you have to do a secondary roster. So other than that, I think we're good. As for this stuff, I don't care too much. I'm going to change the name. You can change the name. You have been able to do this in previous OOTPs, but if you've ever been annoyed that the gold glove is the great glove and the silver slugger is the platinum stick, you can go in and change those. And then this stuff we're good with. Unless they change this rule, I'm pretty sure the All-Star game still decides home field for the World Series, so I'm going to enable that. I think maybe the game just turns that off. Because, I don't know, it shouldn't be that way, but... And then here's something I'm going to change for personal preference. The influence of popularity in All-Star vote, obviously in real life it's very high. I just want to see how it plays out if we use none and they just pick the best players, because it's kind of nice. You get that list of players, and if it's truly done this way, you'd be able to kind of see who the best 68 or so players in baseball have been up to that point. So it's kind of nice to see. I'd like to see it that way instead of just seeing the most popular players come on with the best players, but... Alright, other than that, I don't think we need to change any of this stuff. Alright, and then the manager settings I'm going to change. I'm going to go to the control and autoplay settings. So, minor league promotions, I'm going to set that to my assistant GM, Michael Silverman. I think that's Michael Silverman. Same thing with minor league signings and releasings. Same thing with minor league personnel. I really don't care about the minor leagues. I only care about picking the prospects. Team personnel, I'm going to do that, all that. Setting budgets, I'm going to also assign to my assistant GM. So a little bit less stuff to micromanage. I can just focus on what I want to focus on. And then other than that, I think we're good. I'm going to keep the autoplay. Yeah, it doesn't even matter because you can't, when you're in challenge mode, you can't autoplay until like a date a month down the road in challenge mode during the regular season. You can only do that in the off season now. So, all right. So we allowed that one kind of bad trade to happen. I don't really love that this happened, but it is what it is. I guess the Red Sox also gave up a prospect, so it makes it a little bit more fair because Moreland's not a very good player in this game. And then let's go to sign team staff. One thing I want to do is sign a scout. So in my Red Sox save, Billy Beane was... So I guess they even updated some of these ratings in the new save, because in the beta version, Beane was outstanding majors and he was a lot better, so I hired him. But I think we're going to hire Epstein because since we're a rebuilding team, I want to focus on the amateurs especially, but also the minors and the international more so than scouting the majors. So he fits what we want to do. Could also go with Logan White. He's a little bit better with international, but I would prefer to... I think we're going to have better luck through the draft, especially if we have another bad year this year. We'll get another high draft pick. And some of these guys, like from Japan and Korea, a lot of them, they won't sign with you. Okay, well, this guy will. But if you go to like one of the top ones, like if we do scout majors, I think one of them is, yeah, Manuel Torres. He doesn't want to work at a foreign language, so fair enough. So we're going to go after Theo, and it's a little bit unrealistic that these guys are available. Obviously, Theo is the president of baseball operations, so he's not recognized as a member of the organization in this game because this game only has GM, assistant GM, scouting director. So kind of silly that him, Billy Beane, Andrew Friedman, some of these guys are available, but it's really important for me to have the good scouts, so I'm going to do that. All right, we got game 2 against the Dominican. Let's get through this. We win. That's a big win for us. Another low-scoring game, 2-1. Jay Happ got the start. Michael Fulmer in relief, 6 innings. Interesting that he came in relief. Cueto was pretty good. Of course, he didn't play for the Dominican in real life, but then Fulmer didn't play for the U.S. in real life. So these rosters aren't 100% accurate, but for the most part accurate. I mean, you can see the lineup is pretty good. They got Crawford in there, Kinsler, Posey, all these guys, Arenado, even Adam Jones. Even Adam Jones, who I would not have put on the roster, but I guess when you look at the obvious, I mean, if you couldn't have gotten Mookie Betts or Mike Trout, I guess Adam Jones isn't a terrible substitute. Obviously, he played pretty well. And then, all right, we beat Colombia, and that stinks. Marcus Stroman gets hurt. Doesn't stink for us, but it stinks for Toronto, and it kind of stinks for the game. You don't like to see guys get hurt, especially in the World Baseball Classic, but all well. It happens. We have a nut. Oh my God. Okay. Well, even though, all right, I'm fine with this because this is actually a really cool trade. I mean, this is kind of like if I was a Cubs, I would consider doing something like this. They swapped John Lackey though. That doesn't really make sense for Pittsburgh, but maybe they think they can trade him. And Eloy Jimenez looks like a pretty good prospect for Andrew McCutchen. All right, we're gonna keep going, but if I might even have to turn it down even more. I thought low was good. It did save, I'm pretty sure, right? Was it options, I want to say? No, it's rules. AI trading frequency is low, so we're gonna keep going, but I don't love to see big trades like that in March, but that's fine. I mean, McCutchen, he's a trade candidate especially if Pittsburgh doesn't play well in the first half. He's a free agent at the end of next year. Got a team option for next year, so that'll probably get picked up. But that's fine. I think that's kind of a cool trade. I mean, the Cubs getting McCutchen's like a power move on their part. But all right, so second round of pool play. I see Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and Canada in there. So Canada getting in over the Dominican. Bit of an upset. Let's switch this to the WBC, and then we can switch this to the United States. So we can look at it from this screen. So the Dominican 1-2, Canada beating the Dominican in that final game. That was a huge win for them. So they move on. Colombia goes 0-3. We got Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and Canada in the second round of pool play. In the other pool, it is Japan, China. Wow, that's a big upset. And then Israel and the Netherlands. That's pretty surprising. All those three teams over Cuba, Taiwan. That's definitely surprising. But either way, Israel, Netherlands, and China, along with Japan. I assume Japan's going to come out of that, but we'll see. And it's pretty cool. This Canada team, they even have like Ryan Dempster, and I think they have Eric Gagne on there. And look at Dempster. That's a pretty solid start for the guy. Even though he's got like 0 ratings in this. I don't know how that works, but oh well, whatever. So we've got Puerto Rico in the first game of pool play. And as you can see, I'm not able to play the games. That's why I'm just simulating them. So it doesn't let me play the games, but it seems to indicate that I'm a part of the team because the thing comes up in the schedule. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe that just makes me eligible, like I said, to be selected to be the GM. I'm not sure. But all right, here we go. Puerto Rico. We beat Puerto Rico. That's a huge win. Another low-scoring game. Archer, that's a huge start from him. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 8 Ks, no walks. Love to see that. Venezuela, game 2 of the second round of pool play. We win this game. We're 5-0 in the World Baseball Classic. Maybe, just maybe, this team is going to replicate the real-life Team USA. Let's take a look at this one. Bit more of an offensive showing from both teams. We get the walk-off win, though. Look at that. Venezuela tied it in the 9th, but we bailed out Andrew Miller and got the win. Hap, not very good. No Fulmer, no Stroman now, so our starting pitching is really suffering. I don't know why Fulmer... I guess Fulmer's probably going to start this game, actually, now that I think about it. Against Team Canada. And we win that game 19-8. Wow. All right, so Fulmer, yep, he started this game. That's too... I hope Fulmer's going to be ready for the... I don't know if he's going to be ready for the final now. I'd rather have him start than Hap, but... Anyway, if our offense plays like this, it's not going to matter. McCutchen, big showing there. Putting on for not his new team, but he's making the Cubs happy, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, Israel makes the semifinal. That's really surprising. And it's China, Venezuela. What is this? What is going on? China and Israel made it out of that side of the bracket. I do not believe this. This is the wackiest World Baseball Classic in the history of the World Baseball Classic. And even the U.S. being 6-0, I would say, is kind of surprising, especially beating all those teams, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, the Dominican, Canada twice. Oh, all right, so here we go. Semifinal action against Team Israel. It's going to be Chris Archer against Scott Feldman. And let's see how it goes. Oh, no. We lose. It's going to be Israel and Venezuela. We make the semifinal. I'm not too disappointed in that. I was really surprised the U.S. was able to win in real life, to be quite honest. I would have Venezuela in this game, but we'll see how it goes. and Venezuela does win. They beat Israel 5-1 in the championship game. Martin Perez with the win. Miggy hit 2 homers. So they had 4 homers in that game. Wow. Anyway, so that is that. The thing about the World Baseball Classic for me, I've always been a big fan of the event, but the one thing I really wish, there are ways to do this, but the biggest thing is that not all the best players play. If you had all the best players from the U.S., if you had Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Noah Syndergaard, if you had all those guys, those games would be so much fun to watch, and the U.S. would whitewash teams. I mean, they won this year. They had some close games. If they had all those best players, if they had Kershaw pitching in 3 of those games, and they had Mike Trout in that lineup and Bryce Harper, they would whitewash everyone. Maybe not Japan. I mean, I think Japan, I was really surprised they beat Japan. That was the biggest shocker for me. Even more so than beating Puerto Rico was beating Japan. I thought Japan was going to win. I would pretty much pick them every year, to be honest, because they're crazy good. But anyway, all right, so let's get through the rest of this. We'll take some time now to look at the Rays roster as we shift our attention back to the Major League Baseball side of this. And we're going to go up to opening day pretty much, and then I'm just going to end the episode there. We'll have the trade deadline / amateur draft episode, and then hopefully soon. I'm not going to have any sort of timetable for putting out these videos. I'm going to make a channel update at some point and sort of talk about what my uploading schedule is going to be, but it's not really going to be a specific timetable. So this Rays roster has a chance to be a little bit better this year. We've got some decent players. We're going to get Wilson Ramos back soon to be our catcher. Ooh, look at that. Archer wins MVP. That's pretty cool. So let's go back to what we were looking at. So we'll get Ramos back soon. He'll kind of fill in a catcher for us along with Casali. And then you look at the rest of the roster. We have sort of serviceable players around the diamond. Franklin, Morrison, Longoria, Miller, but you look at this team, you look at the Logan Forsythe trade, those are the type of moves I'm going to be looking to make with this roster. I want to peel off some of these major league pieces in favor of really strengthening the farm system and building for, a few years down the road around guys like Willie Adams, Jake Bowers, Blake Snell, Jose De Leon, Brent Honeywell, those type of names. So that's going to be the real future of this roster. Guys like Evan Longoria, I really want to move Longoria before his 10-5 rights kick in. I don't want to be stuck with him on this contract as he ages into his mid to late 30s, even though it's not a ton of money, but for the Rays, it's enough money that 14 or 15 million would be very valuable spent elsewhere, not even on the Major League roster, but possibly strengthening the farm system in another way. Now, the game did get the Kiermaier extension in the latest update, so that's pretty cool. He's locked up through 2023. And we do have some really affordable contracts. The Archer contract, I don't want to trade. I'm hoping that my team is going to be built up, by the time we get to 2020, 2021. But if it's not, then I can trade him then. We might get more value now, but I'm willing to take that risk. He doesn't make really any money, and if he can do what he did in the World Baseball Classic for us, he can be the ace of our eventual World Series contender. So that's my idea behind that. And then, the rest of the roster, we get some young pitchers. We'll see what we can do with those. But the farm system's not in bad shape, and this roster's not in bad shape. This is definitely not one of the kind of worst scenarios I've ever taken over for a team. That's for sure. But I think it's going to be fun playing in the AL East. I haven't done a save in the AL East yet. And yeah, I think it should be fun playing with a low budget, trying to kind of continue. I mean, the Rays have been a remarkably successful franchise for the last decade, basically. A little less than a decade. They made the playoffs 4 times, despite having one of the lowest payrolls in the league. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2013, though, so we're hoping to get them back there. But we'll see how it goes. We will see. So that is going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy this first episode. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.